All right. What's going on, everybody? May peace and power elevation be to all of you. This your girl Tiffany coming through live in effect. And I'm right here streaming from the StreamYard. So if you're on YouTube, make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel. If you're on Facebook, make sure you share this video. As you all can see, I'm not in my strongest mood right now. I'm really not in a very, very good mood. So I'm gonna do the best I can because I have a lot on my mind right now. But today's topic, we're going to talk about the West African history of Okomfo Anokye. Okomfo Anokye, who was a priest and also the founder of the empire of Ashanti Empire or Ashanti Kingdom, which we know today as Ghana. But at once upon a time it was the Ashanti Kingdom, and it was the kingdom was much larger than what it is today. So we're gonna go into the history of who he is, and I have some sources here to help me to back it up. All right. So let me go ahead and present my source. Okay. So as you can see, I'm on a website called yen.com. History of Okomfo Anokye. The people of Ghana attribute Okomfo Anokye to be one of the founding fathers of the Empire of Ghana, modern-day Ghana, as Kwame Nkrumah later named the country. All right. So here's the history. The history of Okomfo Anokye. Kwame Frimpong Anokye was born in the late 1600s at Awakuya, Akanwapin. He was born to Ano from the Ayade tribe and his mother, Ya Anubia, who was in Ashanti. During his birth, he brought with him gifts from the gods, Tomin poles, which were firmly clenched to his palms. All right. And then it goes on to say that his miracle traveled the land over the Kyrias. The Kyrias were at war with the Ashanti, and true to their faith in Okomfo Anokye's miracle, they overcame the Ashanti. Surprisingly, though, the Ashanti people were ruled by Osini Tutu, Anokye's uncles. Okomfo Anokye later switched sides and moved to the Ashanti. He helped King Tutu overcome the Urias and was rewarded with a land to settle. The land was named Nzima and was later occupied by the Nzima community. All right. So, and let's see, it says to signify unity between the two communities, Nzima and the Ashanti, he drove a sword to each, to the earth, which has stood today as part of the covenant he sealed. The Ashanti people are not to fight the Nzima, more so they can intermarry. Okay. So, as we all know, okay, it's pronounced Anokye. All right, sorry. Thank you for the correction, Anokye. See, thank y'all for that. So, as we all know, you gotta understand during his time period of Okomfo Anokye, during his time, there was tribal wars. Okay, so the concept of race, as we know it today, did not exist in those periods. So, what we know today is black, right? The only reason why we identify as black because of the social construct, and that was a category that was given to us by those from a European descent. But in his time, there was no such thing as being black. They identified by the tribes that you came from. So the reason why I'm on this subject dealing with West African history, because many of us come from Central West Africa. Okay, when I say many of us, I'm talking about our ancestry. That's where our ancestry come from. That's where our lineage. And then you'll find out that if you have taken the ancestry or 23andMe test, you'll find out that your lineage can be traced back to Nigeria, Mali, Ghana, Cameroon, and Senegal, places like that. Okay. So yes, this is an important part of our history as well. Our history is just not in the United States. Our lineage is not just here in the United States. It also goes back to the West African region because that's where our ancestors come from. So we need to know how things were before there was a transatlantic slave trade as we know of today. So all right. So let me go back and finish up this article. All right. Okay, so building of the Ashanti. When King Osei Tutu rose to power in 1690, the Ashanti were a divided people living in scattered patches. Okomfo Anokye, using his political might and his priesthood power, brought the Ashanti people as one in 1695 to bind them for good. Together with Tutu, they quelled any loopholes by appointing chiefs designated Kamazi as the chief, as the Ashanti capital, and resurrecting the Ashanti army. Their might enabled the Ashanti to conquer their biggest rivals, the Kyrias and the Akan Doma, in their quest to expand the Ghana Empire. The military might include a successful resistance to the British rule. The Kyria were the Ashanti's biggest enemy. They would occasionally fight, and the toughest of all wars were staged between 1699 and 1701. It was a losing fight, with the Ashanti were pushed to their gates. Okay. So, however, with Anokye on the Ashanti side, his spell confused the Dekura or the Kyria. They were captured, and the Ashanti gained the Elmina Castle, which later granted the empire access to the coastal region for trade and politics. All right, so right here is supposed to be a statue of Okomfo Anokye, right, in Ashanti. So it's supposed to be some statue here representing him, or to pay homage to him. All right. So it says, during this war, Ashanti history has it that the golden stool descended from heaven. Landing on Anokye's lap, he gave it to the Ashanti. When King Osei Tutu died in 1717, history has it that Okomfo Anokye went back to his homeland, Aguapin. He later died of unknown causes. It was believed he went to bring the key to death, and thus no one was allowed to cry. Days passed with no return. Finally, there was wailing, and Okomfo has never returned. Perhaps someday, maybe he will return with the key to death. All right, so that's the history. There's more information. Let's talk about it real quick. Okay, so many of you guys may not be familiar. Let me give me one moment. All right, you guys. So there's a book that I have that deals with the life of those, and particularly in the Ashanti Kingdom or in the Ghana region, right? It's called the Adinkra Dictionary. So the word Adinkra, here's the book right here, Adinkra Dictionary, if you can see it. So this book right here goes into the concept about the different wise saying, figure of speech, that was used during the time period whenever someone passes away, whether it be especially a king or somebody that was a soldier or somebody that was a guru, a teacher in the community. If they pass away, they always leave the word of wisdom to their people. So, and then what you know as the kente cloth. The kente cloth was a way to honor those who became ancestors, right? So, many of you guys might be familiar with some of the adinkras such as Sankofa, Name Game, and I can't, and there's so many others. So, but the main one is Sankofa. A lot of people are familiar with that, which means to go back into history, to go back into time. So the Adinkra basically means to say your farewells, to say your goodbyes. So let me see if I can find something in this book. Okay, just give me one moment. Give me one moment. All right, you guys, I'm back, but just give me a second. All right. Okay. So here I am. All right, then. I'm back. So in this book, in this particular book right here, which is called the Adinkra Dictionary, all right, let me read something to you that speaks on the Ashanti. All right. So it says the Ashanti gradually settled in the area between Lake Bazantry and the northern forest. They called the country Amaze. Their first settlement was at Asante Maso on the northern edge of the area near Lake Bazantry. In the 17th century, the Akan emerged as the major ethnic group in the area that would later be called the Gold Coast. The Akan group that emerged as the dominant cultural group was the Ashanti. The Ashanti are said to have eventually moved north, settling at Tafo, a crossroad of two northern trading routes. In the 16th century, the Ashanti became subjects of the powerful the Curia people. From all accounts, it is said that in the 17th century, the great leader Ase Tutu emerged from the Ashanti people and united the Ashanti under one government. As a fighting force, the Ashanti were first organized under Chief Oti Akinti, reigned from 1630 to 60. Ase Tutu, the nephew of King Abiri Yoba, reigned from 1660 to 97. Yet from 1660 to 1697 is given credit for uniting the various Akan groups. This union was called the Ashanti Confederation or the Ashanti Nation. All right. When the Ashanti were under the authority of their neighbors, the Kira, it was the custom for their heir of the king of the subjugated people to serve in the court of the Kira. Ose Tutu was sword carrier and king's messenger for the ruler of the Kyria, King Bor Opossum the first. All right, so it says on the death of his uncle, Ose Tutu, who was now living in Akwamu, returned to his homeland to become king. While in Akwamu, Ose Tutu befriended and fetish priest named Okomfo Kwame Freeborn Anokye the priest. He brought back Okomfo Anokye, whom he believed had magical powers. Okomfo would prove to be a valuable friend as an advisor. Okomfo Anokye persuaded Ose Tutu to move his capital to the site of present-day Kumasi. Right, in 1697, Ose Tutu reigned from 1697 to 1731, convening an assembly of people to spread a message that Okomfo Anokye had told him that what's it pronounced? Inyame, the supreme god of the Akans, had revealed to him. At that meeting, it is said that Okomfo Anokye brought down from the sky a wooden stool partly covered with gold to rest on Ose Tutu's knees. This golden stool, Sika Dua, was believed by the Ashanti to embody the soul of the nation. This event was seen as a sign of divine election and served to unify the people and forge the Ashanti Confederation. All right, so just coming out of this book right here, you can find this book. It's called the Adinkra Dictionary. All right. So let's see if I can pull up some more information for you guys that you can look on your own. Okay, let me. All right, so here's some more information regarding to Okomfo Anokye and his life. So, okay, so this picture right here is supposed to be a source site, legendary site, or foundation of the Ashanti Kingdom in Kumasi, Ghana. All right. So that's the legendary site of the foundation of the Ashanti Empire Kingdom. All right. So, and I have some more information right here, which is called The History of West Africa, Cultural History. And it says, and it speaks on the Akan kingdoms and the emergence of Ashanti Empire. It says by the 17th century, Okomfo Tutu the first, with the help of Okomfo Anokye, unified what became the Ashanti into a confederation with the golden stool as a symbol of their unity in spirit. Ozzy Tutu engaged in massive territorial expansion. He built up the Ashanti army based on the Akan state of Akwamu, include introducing new organization and turning a disciplined militia into an effective fighting machine. All right. And so let's talk about the golden stool for a moment. Where is the golden stool? All right, so I know some of us have heard about the golden stool concept, and it's also the flag of the Ashanti people. So the golden stool is the royal and divine throne of kings of the Ashanti people and the ultimate symbol of power in Ashanti. According to legend, Okomfo Anokye, high priest and one of the two chiefs founders of the Ashanti Confederacy, caused the stool to descend from the sky and land on the lap of the first Ashanti king, Ozzy Tutu. Such seats were traditionally symbolic of a chieftain's leadership, but the golden stool is believed to house the spirit of the Ashanti nation, living, dead, and yet to be dead. All right, so going by here where it says symbology and ritual. Each stool is understood to be the seat of the owner. So, and when not in use, it is placed against a wall so that other souls passing by may relax on it. The golden stool is the royal throne and must never touch the ground. Instead, it is placed on a blanket. During inauguration, a new king is raised and lowered over the stool without touching it. The golden stool is carried to the king on a pillow, as only the Ashanti himself is allowed to handle it. During solemn occasions, the golden stool is placed on the king's left on a throne of its own. The throne facing the crown. All right, so now there was some historical conflict about the stool. It says many wars have broken out over the ownership of the royal throne. In 1896, the Ashanti Hihi Permimpe the first was deported rather than risking losing both the war and the throne. In the 1900s, Sir Frederick Hodgson, the governor of the Gold Coast, demanded to be allowed to sit on the golden stool and ordered that a search for it be conducted. This provoked an armed rebellion known as the War of the Golden Stool, which resulted in the alienation of Ashanti to the British Empire, but preserved the sanctity of the Golden Stool. In 1921, African road workers discovered the stool and stripped some of the gold ornaments. They were taken into protective custody by the British before being tried according to the local custom and sentenced to death. The British intervened and the group was instead banished. And an assurance of non-interference with the stool was then given by the British, and it was brought out of hiding. In 1935, the stool was used in the ceremony to crown Ozzy Tutu Ayangme Primpe III. All right, so that is the golden stool right here, and then this is the flag for the Ashanti people. Yes, as you can see, that's the same golden stool that's on the flag of the Ashanti people. Yes, they have their own flag. All right. So, let's see. So that's that information. All right, so let's look up some more information about the Ashanti people. All right, or the Akan people rather. So this one's called West African people. Here's this article right here, or online source. All right, so it's dealing with West African people, and we're gonna look under the Akan because that's what the Ashanti tribe is under, the Akan people. All right, so there's various tribes of West Africa. Now let's skip on down. You got the Fulani tribe right here, and then we right here under the Akan tribe. All right. And here's the stool again. All right. So the Akan language tribes live between Ghana and Ivory Coast. Let me see if I can pull this up closely. All right, there we go. Okay, so the Akan language tribe live between Ghana and the Ivory Coast. The principal groups are the Ashanti, Fante, Bale, Abron, and Anyi. Notwithstanding their historical relationship and the similarity of their art forms and gold symmetry in particular, and of symbols of power such as thrones and fabrics, there are strong differences in social and political organization. While in the 17th and the 18th century, the Ashanti founded a highly structured monarchy, the Bole founded egalitarian individualistic society based on the extended family. In the 19th century, two forms of government existed in the Ashanti Kingdom. A federal structure dealt with relations between the Kamazi king and neighboring chiefs, while a centralized bureaucracy dealt with the subject population, collecting tributes and organizing manpower in the farms and the gold mines, even using slaves. Originally from Ghana, the Bole migrated to the Ivory Coast in the 18th century when the Ashanti came to power and merged with the Aboriginals, from whom they learned to use masks when the Ashanti did not use. The Akan tribes built their historical identity by incorporating aspects of Muslim, and I don't know why they spell it as Muslim, but Muslim culture, though without converting to Islam, to which they were exposed by the caravan traders who crossed the Sahara and the Europeans who used the ports of call on the Gulf of Guinea. All right. So let's see. Let me pull this up. Okay, so it said the seat and body parts of the individual spiritual essence, therefore, must be treated with care and never left unguarded. Only its legitimate owner may sit on it. This at his death, the seat is buried with him or blackened and used as an ancestor altar by his progeny. Okay, the figure and dramatic, yet in a geometric motifs refer to proverbs in this case, and allusion to the knot of wisdom to problems whose unknotting requires thinking. All right. Then this one is called gold weights were made in geometric or figure shapes, often associated with adades or moral precepts about the appropriate way of living one's life. They were made of brass using the lost wax technique first introduced in the northern savannas by Mende traders in the 14th or 15th century. All right. And then it says sometime at the empty niche at the bottom has a protective medicine. Ashanti seats are carved from a single piece of wood. They symbolize a nobleman's power and invoke the gold throne of their king, who embodies unity of the Ashanti nation. All right, so there's more information. Okay. All right, and so this information is dealing with West African history. So this is the first series of West Africa and its history. So I'm going to be doing more about that as well. So one day I am going to be focusing on the topic about the transatlantic slave trade alone in West Africa. So, because I don't think that people really get it and really understand the origin and the history and how these things came about and why they came about. So, yeah. Um, so yeah, I have so many things that I like to share and so many stuff that I want to offer. Um, with that being said, you guys, I am going to log off of here. That's all I wanted to get into today on this topic. As you can see, I'm not really in my best mood right now, so I'm trying to force myself to do this. But you know, when you're not in a good mood and you're not in that energy, you're not in that spirit to do anything, you know, it makes it hard for you to want to do something. But I'll be okay. But all right then. With that being said, you guys, I will reconnect with you all later. Thank you for watching the video. And if you want to share this video, you're more than welcome to do so. If you are on YouTube or if you have not subscribed to my YouTube channel, please do so. It's Tiffany French, which is my YouTube channel. So please make sure you subscribe on there and check it out. All right. So with that being said, I will talk to y'all. May peace and power elevation be to all you. Thank you. All right.